My name is Eliza Beaumont, and I'm 32 years old. If you'd looked at my life on paper the night I dragged my suitcase down the hallway toward my condo, you'd probably say I'd finally done it. Finally become the responsible success story my family loved to parade in front of other people. Registered nurse, 5 years of 12-hour shifts in ICU, a one-bedroom condo in Portland with my name alone on the deed. The kind of life my mother could brag about at book club without having to mention the parts she found inconvenient. Like the debt I crawled out of, the panic attacks at 3 in the morning, the half-finished novel files buried on my laptop. I'd taken a month-long sabbatical, my first real break since nursing school. I spent it in a rented cabin 3 hours away, just me, a stack of notebooks, and a promise to myself I was going to come back rested with the first draft of a book living in my backpack. I told everyone that. My parents, my younger brother Tyler, my cousin Madison. I said it a dozen times. I need this. Please don't use my place while I'm gone. I just want to come home to quiet. They all smiled, nodded, said the right words. I should have known better. The first warning sign hit me before I even reached my door. A faint, sour smell in the hallway. Stale pizza and energy drink. Not usually a scent associated with my floor of young professionals who posted their recycling schedules on the lobby bulletin board. I fumbled my keys, heart thudding with a sudden, irrational fear that someone had broken in. Then I heard it, the roar of a voice I knew too well. And that chat is how you absolutely wipe the floor with these noobs. Don't forget to like, sub, and ring that bell. Tyler. My brother's laugh, loud, cocky, riding over the shrill buzz of game sound effects, boomed through my supposedly soundproof door. For one stunned second, I just stood there, key halfway to the lock. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was in someone else's apartment. Maybe I opened the door. The smell hit first. Grease, sweat, the chemical tang of energy drink. My clean, pale gray living room rug was now a minefield of pizza boxes and crushed cans. My cream leather sectional was smeared with orange dust and dark stains I didn't want to identify. LED lights I had never purchased cast a garish glow across my walls. My vintage coffee table, found at an estate sale and lovingly refinished over 3 separate weekends, had a fresh crack arcing through its surface like a fault line. And in the middle of it all, sitting in one of my antique dining chairs that had definitely not been designed for rocking back and forth, was my 24-year-old brother, Tyler Beaumont, in his natural habitat, headset on, camera angled perfectly, ego bigger than my entire square footage. He didn't even look at the door. "Yo, chat!" he bellowed, eyes glued to the screen. "You see that? That's pure talent. That's why sponsors stay knocking." "Tyler," I said. My voice came out soft, almost conversational. It didn't match the way my pulse was jackhammering in my ears. He jerked, chair wobbling. The stream view flipped as he swung toward me, the camera capturing my suitcase and my face in the doorway. "Oh, snap," he crowed. "Look who's back early. Say hi to my big sis. Chat. This is Eliza. She's the nurse I told you about, the one who always freaks out over nothing." The chat feed on his second monitor blurred in the corner of my vision, a waterfall of emojis and comments. I didn't read a single one. My gaze moved from the monitors to the stains to the pizza grease on the wall near my gallery frames. My jaw went numb. "Turn it off," I said quietly. "End the stream." Tyler grinned, that practiced, charming smile he used on his followers and our mother. "Relax, Liza. This is golden. Surprise homecoming, live reaction, all that wholesome content. You're trending material." I repeated, "Turn it off." He rolled his eyes but clicked something on the keyboard. The game sounds muted, the chat minimized. "You're supposed to be gone another 3 weeks, he said, twisting in my dining chair like a bored child. "Mom said you needed quiet creative time, or whatever. Did the big writer's retreat kick you out?" It wasn't a retreat, it was a sabbatical. My fingers tightened on the suitcase handle. In a cabin I paid for, with money from my job. Same difference. I stepped further into the room, dragging my suitcase past a tipped-over tripod. The condo I'd left, plants watered, dishes put away, bed made tight enough to bounce a coin on, was gone. Replaced by this. A set. A brand. A lifestyle Tyler sold to 15-year-olds on the internet as proof that he'd made it. I glanced at the wall near the TV. One of my discreet little cameras blinked, its lens disguised inside a metal wall sculpture. I'd installed them a year ago after Dad borrowed my spare key, and I came home to find my parents drinking wine on my sofa without telling me. "You're quiet," Tyler said, studying me. "Creepy quiet. That's your I'm judging you face." "What?" I asked, my voice still calm. "Are you doing in my home?" He snorted. "Streaming, obviously. Did you miss the 3 monitors and the ring lights?" I repeated, "home. Don't be dramatic. Mom and Dad said it was fine. The Wi-Fi at their place sucks, and I needed somewhere that looked high-end for sponsors. You weren't even here." The front door opened behind me. "Tyler, honey, I got those protein shakes you—" My mother's voice sliced through the room, bright and rehearsed. Patricia Beaumont swept in on a cloud of perfume and designer handbag leather, arms full of grocery bags. She froze when she saw me. "Eliza?" Her smile faltered. "What are you doing here?" I let out a laugh. It came out lighter than it felt. "I live here, remember?" Patricia's eyes darted around the room, over the mess, the equipment, the faint smear of something red on the wall. For a split second, guilt cracked through her expression. Then her features smoothed into something soothing and patronizing. "Sweetheart, we didn't expect you back so soon," she said, setting the bags down like she was hosting guests rather than standing in the middle of a disaster zone. "Tyler's channel is really taking off. We didn't want to bother you while you were writing." The way she said writing made it sound like playing house. "My sabbatical," I said. "The one I planned for 2 years. The one I asked you not to intrude on. The one I paid for with the overtime Tyler says on stream he doesn't believe in." "Eliza," she chided gently, "you can write anywhere. That's the beauty of creative work. But Tyler needs stable internet, a proper setup. He has commitments, sponsorships, deliverables." Tyler waggled his phone without looking up. "See? Even my manager says consistency is everything. I can't just stop streaming because my sister wants quiet." The buzzing in my ears sharpened to a cold, clear line. "Get out," I said. They both stared at me. "What?" Tyler laughed. "Come on, Liza, don't be like that." "Get out," I repeated. "Both of you, and take every piece of your junk with you." My mother's expression hardened so fast it gave me whiplash. "Eliza Marie Beaumont," she snapped. "You are being completely unreasonable. This family has always supported you. Your schooling, your little condo. The least you can do is be flexible when your brother has a real opportunity. Real opportunity. As opposed to my unreal job keeping people alive. Family has every right to share," she went on, gesturing around as if it were all hers. "This place is an investment in all of our futures." "My name is on the deed," I said. "My money paid for every single thing you're standing on, sitting on, and currently staining. You don't get to convert my life into Tyler's backdrop because it photographs better." Tyler pushed his chair back, bracing his elbows on his knees. "You're overreacting. It's temporary. Once I hit 100K subs, I'll get my own loft. This place barely fits the vision anyway." That did it. I walked past them, down the hallway, toward my bedroom. The door was unlocked. That was the last mercy. I opened it and stopped. My bed had been shoved against the wall to make room for more desks, more monitors, more cables. My writing desk, where I'd outlined characters and scenes for months, was buried under headphones, controllers, and empty snack bags. LED strips snaked along the ceiling, casting a sickly glow over my framed photos and certificate from the hospital. My sanctuary had been repurposed into content. I swallowed hard. My throat burned. From the hallway, my mother called, "Eliza, we need to talk about this like adults. Tyler has contracts. He can't just stop doing business from one day to the next. That's not how the real world works." No, it wasn't. I crossed the room to my small wall safe, hidden behind a canvas print. My fingers moved automatically over the keypad. Inside, a flash drive waited, one I'd tucked away months ago, when the first uneasy suspicion had pushed me to install those hidden cameras. I slipped it into my pocket, then pulled out my phone. "This is Beaumont Unit 903, I said when the building management line picked up. My voice sounded distant in my own ears. Flat, steady. "I need to report unauthorized occupants and significant property damage in my condo. Yes, right now." Tyler pounded on the bedroom door. "You're being insane. Think about my channel. My viewers are expecting a stream in an hour." I looked around at the wreckage of my room, at the cables hanging like vines, at the dent in my wardrobe door. For 32 years, my role in this family had been the same. Clean it up, smooth it over, make it work. Something inside me, small and exhausted and done, finally snapped the last thread tying me to that role. On the phone, the building manager asked, "Do you want to file an official complaint, Ms. Beaumont?" "Yes," I said, "I do." It was the first time I chose myself over them. I had no idea how far that choice would go. By morning, the locksmith had already come and gone. Fresh hardware gleamed on my front door, the new deadbolts sliding into place with a clean, satisfying click. It bought me exactly 18 hours of peace, 18 hours of silence, of trash bags and bleach, of hauling empty cans down to recycling and scrubbing orange fingerprints off my walls until my wrists ached. I didn't sleep. I just cleaned and cataloged. Every deep scratch on the hardwood, every cigarette burn on my balcony planter, every mysterious stain on the couch that made my stomach twist. I took photos of all of it, uploaded them to a folder on my laptop labeled, simply, Evidence. At 10 a.m., right on schedule, the doorbell rang. I stared at the camera feed on my phone. My mother's perfectly made-up face filled the screen, lips pressed tight. My father stood behind her, hands in his pockets, staring at the hallway carpet. Tyler bounced on his heels, hood up, eyes darting like he was already imagining this confrontation as future content. "Open the door, Eliza," Patricia called, her voice muffled through the wood. "We need to have a family discussion." Family discussion. That was what she called it when they'd sat me down at 18 and explained that my college fund had been redirected into Dad's restaurant dream. When they'd told me, at 24, that taking out store cards in my name without asking was just a mix-up. It was never a discussion. It was a verdict wearing lipstick. I took a breath, slid the new deadbolt back, and opened the door. Patricia swept past me without waiting for an invitation, her heels clicking on the floor I'd just mopped. Raymond followed, offering me a tight, apologetic half-smile as if he were a hostage and not a volunteer. Tyler stopped in the doorway, glancing up at the new lock. "Wow," he said, "overkill much?" I said nothing, just closed the door behind him. My dining table, my pride from that estate sale in Selwood, had been cleared of last night's debris. I'd set out 3 mugs of coffee before they arrived, partly to keep my hands busy, partly because I knew how this scene would look in my memory later. Steam curling between us like a ghost we couldn't get rid of. We all sat. My parent is on one side, me on the other. Tyler dragged a chair around and sat next to Patricia, as if aligning himself on the winning team. It felt less like a family meeting and more like a negotiation in which the outcome had already been decided, at least in their minds. Patricia folded her hands on the table and gave me the kind of smile she reserved for waiters and HOA presidents. "First," she said, "I want to acknowledge that you're upset." I almost laughed. "Do you?" "This isn't easy for any of us," she continued, undeterred. "Tyler is under a lot of pressure. His channel is at a crucial growth stage." "He's streaming from my home," I said, "where he doesn't live, using equipment I didn't authorize, after I explicitly told you not to let anyone stay here." Patricia's gaze sharpened. "You were gone, Eliza, for weeks. This space was just sitting here. We all know you're not exactly entertaining guests every night." "The condo is not a spare storage unit," I said. "It's my home." My father cleared his throat, the sound of a man about to suggest compromise when what he meant was, "Eliza, give in." "Let's all take a breath," he said. "No one is saying it's not your home, honey. We're just proposing an arrangement that benefits everyone." I watched him carefully. An arrangement. Tyler leaned forward, suddenly animated. "Okay, so hear me out," he said. "What if we think bigger? My numbers are insane right now. After that last Fortnite tournament, I got 3 new sponsorship inquiries. 3. They want to see the lifestyle, the setup, the package." He gestured around the room. "This place is perfect. The lighting, the view, the location tag. Chat goes crazy over it." "So your plan," I said slowly, "is to keep using my condo as your set." "Not just use it," he said impatiently. "Live it. Expand. Build something real. Mom and Dad have already been looking at options that make sense." Patricia brightened, as if they'd finally reached the part of the presentation she'd practiced in the mirror. "We thought," she said, "that perhaps you could move into a lovely smaller apartment in the Pearl District. More artistic. Quaint cafes. Lots of inspiration for your writing." She reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope. "We've even gathered first month's rent to help you transition." She slid the envelope across the table like they were doing me a kindness. I didn't touch it. "So," I said, "the arrangement is that I move out of my own home so Tyler can keep pretending it's his to his followers and sponsors." "No one said pretend," Raymond protested quickly. "It's more of a marketing angle." "You told sponsors you owned this condo, didn't you?" I asked Tyler. He flinched, just barely. It was enough. "How would you know that?" he demanded. "Those are private business documents." "I watched some of your streams," I said. "I heard you. Welcome to my penthouse, guys. This is my bachelor pad overlooking downtown. He shrugged. You think they want to hear welcome to my sister's boring little condo that she barely uses because she's always at the hospital? It's branding, Eliza. Branding, I echoed. I reached for my mug, needing the anchor of something warm in my hands. Is that what we're calling forgery now? Silence dropped over the table like a curtain. Patricia's fingers tightened on the envelope. What are you talking about? I set my coffee down, wiped an invisible spot from the table, and then opened my laptop. The folder labeled evidence waited on the desktop. I clicked another folder nested inside. Contracts. I turned the screen toward them. On it, a sponsorship agreement glowed in black and white. Tyler's channel name, Tyler's email, the building's address, my unit number, and my name, my full legal name, written in a neat, unfamiliar version of my own handwriting. Here, I said, tapping the screen, this one is with Game Fuel Energy. Influencer must own or hold exclusive lease rights to the property used as primary filming location. Signed by Eliza Beaumont. Except I didn't sign it. Raymond's face drained of color. Eliza, he said carefully, I'm sure there's an explanation. There is, Tyler cut in, his voice climbing. You never would have agreed if I'd asked. You're weird about privacy. You freak out if we so much as sit on the wrong chair. I had to do what was best for the channel. So you committed fraud? I said. It's not fraud, he snapped. It's creative positioning. They wanted to see stability, okay? Owning property is part of the image. You're already doing the adult thing, working yourself to death at the hospital. Why can't that help both of us? Patricia recovered fast, smoothing her expression back into calm. Tyler is right about one thing, she said. You have always had more than him. The job, the condo, the control. Your father and I just wanted to level the playing field. It's what parents do. I stared at her. You took out store credit cards in my name without asking, I said. You used my address for Dad's second business venture without telling me. You gave Tyler my spare key and let him turn my home into his props closet. That's not leveling the playing field, Mom. That's theft. Oh, for heaven's sake, she snapped. Always such dramatic words with you. Theft, betrayal, fraud. This is family. Family doesn't forge signatures, I said softly. Tyler pushed away from the table, pacing. Look, you're blowing this way out of proportion. I'm building something here. I have subscribers to think about. I have contracts, deliverables. You can write your little book anywhere. A coffee shop, a park bench, some quirky studio Mom found online. But my chat expects this view, this background, this you. No? He gestured around the room, at the walls I'd painted myself, at the rug I'd paid off in 3 installments. My ears rang. Do you know what building management showed me yesterday? I asked. 14 noise complaints, 18 reports of unauthorized filming, threatened legal action over privacy violations. They've been collecting screenshots of your streams for months, Tyler. You've been running a full business out of a residential unit against the lease, against city code. Patricia waved a dismissive hand. Janet exaggerates. She's always had it out for us. She's always had it out for you, I corrected, because you argue with every rule that inconveniences you. She told me yesterday that if I don't shut down all commercial activity out of this unit in 24 hours, she starts eviction proceedings. Raymond's eyes widened. Eviction? They can't do that. You're a model tenant. That's the only reason they haven't already, I said. But they're done, and so am I. Tyler stopped pacing. What does that mean? It means, I said, you're not staying here. You're not streaming from this address. You're not signing my name. You're not bringing strangers into my home for content, not for 1 more hour. Patricia's chair scraped harshly against the floor as she stood. Don't be rash, Eliza. Think about your brother's future. He has a big contract starting next week. Daily content from this apartment was part of the deal. Not my problem, I said. It will be when he's forced to move back in with us, she snapped. Do you want that? His career ruined, his spirit crushed, all because you couldn't be flexible for a few months. I looked at my mother, the woman who had once worked double shifts at a diner so we could afford braces for me, who now wore her exhaustion like expensive perfume and denial like jewelry. You had no right, I said quietly, to offer my home, to sign my name, to decide that my boundaries were optional because they were inconvenient to you. Tyler sank back into his chair, smirking like he thought this was still salvageable. Fine, he said. You want to play hardball? Name your price. I blinked. My what? Your price, he repeated, eyes glittering. Everyone has one. You want a cut of the sponsorships? Done. We'll add you as a silent partner. Maybe you can finally quit your little hospital job and write full time. You should be thanking me for the opportunity. There it was, the core of it. Not family, not love. Leverage. I stood up, my chair making almost no sound at all. There is no price, I said. There is only this. You have 2 hours to get your things out of my condo, all of them. Then I change the locks again. And if I see one more camera, one more stranger, one more document with my forged signature, I go not just to building management, but to your sponsors and to the police. Patricia stared at me like she didn't recognize the woman in front of her. You wouldn't dare, she whispered. My phone buzzed on the table. A text from Janet flashed across the screen. Saw your brother trying to film in the lobby last night. We need to talk about next steps. I picked up the phone, turned the screen so they could see. Watch me, I said. Tyler's bravado flickered. Liza, come on. Think about how this is going to look online. My followers will destroy you. People will take my side. Let them, I said. For once in my life, I'm more interested in the truth than the angle. I walked to the door and opened it. 2 hours, I repeated. Then this stops being a family issue and starts being a legal one. For a heartbeat, none of them moved. Then Raymond stood, face gray. Come on, he murmured to Tyler. Grab what you can. Patricia lingered, eyes blazing. You are making a terrible mistake, she hissed. You don't turn your back on family, Eliza. One day you'll understand that, and by then, it'll be too late. I met her gaze, feeling something in my chest crack and shift into place. It's already too late, I said. You just never noticed. She swept past me, the envelope of first month's rent, forgotten on the table. When the door clicked shut behind them, my legs suddenly felt boneless. I leaned my forehead against the cool wood and let out a breath I felt like I'd been holding for 32 years. My guides. In the kitchen, my laptop screen still glowed with Tyler's forged contracts. Beside it, the little flash drive waited. I picked it up and turned it over in my fingers, the metal warm from my palm. 2 hours, I thought. 2 hours for them to move their mess out of my home. And then? Then I would start moving them out of my life. The hospital break room was the quietest I'd ever seen it. Usually there was noise, microwave doors slamming, nurses venting, coffee machines hissing like they shared our collective exhaustion. But that morning, it was just me, my laptop, and the soft hum of the vending machine. I plugged in the flash drive. Folders appeared instantly. Security footage, unauthorized entry, Tyler streams, damages, personal items accessed. The pit in my stomach deepened. I hadn't expected so many. I opened the first file. A timestamp filled the top corner. Tyler letting himself in with my spare key. 3 of his friends behind him. Not knocking, not asking, just barging in like they owned the place. On the screen, one friend wandered to my bookshelf, pulled down my copy of Rebecca, flipped through it, and tossed it aside. Another sprawled across my freshly made bed, shoes on. I clenched my jaw. Then the next clip, Amber doing a selfie tour of my condo like it was an Airbnb she'd paid for. And this is Tyler's new place, she giggled to her followers. He's such a grown-up now. Heat flooded my chest. I opened another file, one labeled /private areas. I almost closed it again. Almost. But I clicked. Footage of Tyler rifling through my desk. Not just my desk, my drawers, my folders, my mail. My paycheck stub. My tax documents. My hands curled into fists so tight my nails dug into my palms. Behind me, the break room door creaked open. You already start without me? Marcus asked, carrying 2 coffees. I didn't look away from the screen. You might not want to see this. He set the cups down and leaned over my shoulder. Oh, hell no, he breathed, watching the footage. Did he just try on your scrubs? A beat, a horrified beat. Yeah, I said flatly. Those are the ones I wore during the Delta surge. I saved them because they reminded me why I stayed in nursing, even when it broke me. Jesus, Eliza! He shook his head, running a hand over his face. Your brother is out of his mind. That's not the worst of it, I murmured, clicking ahead. A new clip filled the screen. Underage boys, Tyler's streamer friends, passing around beer. One of them toasting directly into my hidden lamp camera. Marcus swore softly. He's done. That's a liquor license violation, a building code violation, contributing to a minor. And that's before we get to the property damage, I said. Right on cue, Tyler jumped onto my couch, landing hard enough to make the frame creak. Amber filmed him with her phone, laughing as he shouted something about going viral. My chest tightened. It was one thing to see the aftermath. It was another to watch them do it. This is a lot, Marcus said, voice small. Like I knew things were bad with your family, but this is... He gestured helplessly. He didn't need to finish. I clicked into the next folder, forgery. Screenshots of contracts, my name, my signature. Marcus leaned in. Is that a sponsorship agreement? I said. The one Tyler said was creative marketing. Looks like felony fraud, he murmured. I swallowed hard. I know. The break room door opened again, and this time it wasn't a coworker. Janet from building management stood in the doorway, holding a thick folder bulging with documents. When she saw me, she exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for hours. Ms. Beaumont, she said, we need to talk. Marcus took a step back, giving us space. Janet sat across from me, sliding the heavy folder onto the table between us. My name was written on the tab. Eliza, she began, using my first name for the first time ever. This has been building for a while, and I need to be clear. If it weren't for your spotless history with us, you would have been given an eviction notice yesterday. My stomach dropped. I didn't know any of this was happening. Her expression softened. I believe you, truly. But the board doesn't care what you knew. They care about liability. She opened the folder. Inside was a stack of printouts, screenshots from Tyler's streams, timestamps, resident complaints, copies of city ordinances he'd violated. 14 noise complaints, she said. 18 reports of unauthorized filming. Repeated fire code violations. And 3 residents threatening to sue the building for privacy invasion. She flipped another page. Commercial activities traced to your unit. Business operations without a license. Filming minors consuming alcohol. Influencer events that broke occupancy limits. Each line felt like another stone tightening around my ribs. Your brother, she said, choosing her words carefully, has essentially been running an unlicensed business out of your home, publicly. I closed my eyes. This needs to stop today, she said softly, or I have to file eviction proceedings, not just against him, against you. It felt like someone had pulled the floor out from under me. I'll shut everything down, I said. I promise. Janet nodded. Then we're on the same side. She stood to leave, then hesitated at the door. Just so you're prepared, the board already voted to ban your brother and your parents from entering the building indefinitely, effective immediately. My eyes snapped open. My parents too? Her voice dropped. They were filmed facilitating some of the activity, including letting in underage guests. The world tilted. She gave me a sympathetic look. I'm sorry, truly. When she left, the room felt colder. I stared down at the flash drive, the folder of contracts. The screen frozen on Tyler, smiling into my camera with my things behind him like they were props. Marcus sat back beside me. You okay? No, he nodded. What are you going to do? I took a deep breath, then opened a new email. To Silver and Hartman Law Firm. Subject, urgent, identity theft and property fraud. I attached everything. The footage, the forged contracts, the sponsorship agreements, screenshots, damage photos, notes from Janet, every piece of truth my family had tried to bury under excuses and entitlement. Marcus watched as my fingers hovered over the send button. You don't have to do this, he said quietly. It'll blow up your whole family. They already blew it up, I said. I'm just documenting the debris. He hesitated. Once you hit send, there's no going back. I thought of my condo, my stolen peace, my sabotaged boundaries, my mother's dismissive smile, Tyler laughing on my couch in my shirt with his shoes on my bed. Then I clicked. Send. Marcus blew out a breath. Okay, so that's step 1. It's the only step, I said. My phone buzzed instantly. Tyler. I ignored it. It buzzed again and again. Then a text from Dad. Call us, now. Tyler is upset. You need to fix this. I stared at the screen. Then I powered my phone off. When I turned it back on later, I knew every bridge between us would already be burning. By the time my shift ended, my phone had been buzzing nonstop. Calls from Tyler, calls from my mom, 5 missed calls from Dad, and 1 text from my cousin Madison. Hey, something's happening on Tyler's stream. You might want to check. My stomach sank. I stepped outside into the late afternoon Portland air and opened the notification. Tyler had posted a new video. My sister is trying to destroy my career. Please listen before you judge. I didn't want to tap it, but I did. Tyler's face filled the screen, perfectly framed, perfect lighting, a tear tracking down the left side of his face, but not the right. That alone told me everything. Staged, deliberate, calculated to manipulate an audience who treated his life like a TV show. She betrayed me, he choked. My own sister. After everything I've done, after everything we've built together, she's jealous. She's trying to sabotage my sponsors, trying to ruin my name. Thousands of comments flew by. Not your sis doing that. Women always jealous far. Family should support family. Stay strong, King. I closed the app. Cold washed over me. I wasn't angry, not then. I was numb. My condo key felt like lead in my hand as I walked back to the hotel room I'd booked for the night. I wasn't going back to the condo, not while Tyler was unpredictable and furious. The room was small but quiet, clean, mine. I dropped onto the stiff bedspread and stared at the ceiling. Then my phone buzzed again. Live, Tyler Beaumont. Official. Support party stream. I clicked before I could stop myself. The screen exploded into chaos. My condo, on live stream, again. Louder, worse, wilder than before. Music blasted. Strangers poured through my front door like it was a nightclub. Someone had strung LED light ropes from my balcony to the kitchen cabinets. My antique dining table, my restored treasure, was being used as a beer pong platform. Tyler appeared on screen wearing one of my vintage band shirts, his arm slung around a guy I recognized from the earlier footage. "We hit 10,000 viewers," Tyler yelled over the bass. "And to celebrate, we're throwing a real party." The chat went feral. "Let's go! This is iconic. Content, baby. Didn't your sister say you can't stream there? El meme." Someone, Jake, one of Tyler's hanger-on friends, climbed onto my coffee table and jumped, crashing into the sofa. The camera shook. Amber shrieked with laughter. I felt sick. Then the worst moment hit. The balcony door slid open. Tyler and several others poured onto my patio, bottles in hand, leaning over the railing while cheering. Jake climbed onto the railing. My heart stopped. On screen, Tyler shouted, "Bro, do it for the stream." Jake wobbled. The screen jolted violently. Screams erupted. Then, a blur, a body dropping out of frame. Comments exploded. WTF? Did he fall? Someone call 911. This is not fake, Then, pounding on the condo door, not on the live stream, in real life. 3 uniformed officers appeared on the stream's background as Tyler whipped around, panicking. "Everyone out! Cut the cameras!" The stream cut to black. My hands shook uncontrollably as I clicked out. My phone rang instantly. "Janet," I answered on the first ring. "Eliza, did you see it?" "Yes." "The police are already on site," she said, voice tight and clipped. "Someone fell from your balcony into the pool. He's alive, but injured. And the board, Eliza, the board is done. This is officially the last straw. Your brother, your parents, every unauthorized guest, they are being permanently banned from the property. We'll be drafting formal notices tonight." I closed my eyes. "I understand." "You need to know," she continued softly. "The building is holding you responsible unless you take immediate action. You must prove you were not involved and that you're pursuing legal remedy. We cannot allow this to continue." "I already started that process," I said, "hours ago." "Good, because if you hadn't," her voice lowered, "your residency here would already be terminated." My breath hitched. "Eliza," she added, "I'm saying this as a person, not a manager. Your brother put people's lives at risk tonight. This isn't content, it's criminal." After the call ended, I sat frozen, phone heavy in my hand. Then, slowly, I opened my laptop, pulled up the email draft I'd written earlier, the one addressed to every single one of Tyler's sponsors. Subject line, urgent. Fraudulent use of my name and address. Footage attached. Contracts attached. Screenshots attached. A concise explanation of identity theft, property damage, and now, dangerous parties causing injuries. It was the kind of email that would destroy someone's career. It was also the email that would save my life. My finger hovered over the trackpad. I thought of Tyler laughing on my furniture, of my mother's voice telling me I was being dramatic, of Dad sighing, telling me to be reasonable, of the underage kids in my condo drinking beer, of the boy falling from my balcony, of the forged signature that looked like my own handwriting. Then I clicked send. The email shot into the world like a bullet. My phone buzzed almost immediately. "Dad." I didn't answer. He called again and again. Then came the text. "What the hell did you do? Sponsors are calling. Tyler is hysterical. Fix this now." Fix it. Always fix it. Not anymore. I turned my phone off. When I turned it on again, the world would no longer look the same, for them or for me. My phone was still off when I reached the hotel room door. The silence felt artificial, like the world was holding its breath before impact. When I finally turned it back on, it vibrated so violently it nearly slipped out of my hand. Messages flooded the screen faster than I could even read them. Dad, you ruined everything. Call me right now. Your brother is breaking down. Mom, Eliza, how could you? Tyler is sobbing. Sobbing. The sponsors are pulling out because of you. I'm shaking. You've destroyed this family. Tyler, a wall of missed calls, voicemails, angry texts, begging texts, threats disguised as pleas. And then, Madison, Eliza, you need to see this. Check Twitter, now. My heart dropped. I opened the app. Tyler's name was trending, but not the way he wanted. Tyler, Beaumont exposed, #fraud streamer, #influencer lies. The first headline came from a mid-sized tech blog. Breaking, gaming influencer. Tyler Beaumont loses major sponsorships after fraud allegations. Then another. Exclusive, my sister ruined me. Influencer claims sabotage amid growing legal questions. And then the one that made my chest go cold. Anonymous nurse blows whistle on influencer using her identity for sponsorship fraud. Anonymous nurse. Me. Not for long. I clicked into Tyler's newest video, posted just minutes before. My sister is trying to destroy my life, my side of the story. It had already reached 200,000 views. Tyler's face filled the screen, blotchy and tearful, but framed with perfect ring light symmetry. She emailed my sponsors, he shouted hoarsely. She sent them lies, lies about me. And now they're dropping me. My income, gone. My future, gone. His voice cracked dramatically. Practiced. Just like he'd learned from watching apology videos go viral. My own sister, he sobbed, wants to see me fail. She's jealous. She hates that I'm successful. She hates that I built something real. She's always been like this, controlling, bitter. A flicker of genuine rage flashed through his eyes. And now she's trying to get me arrested. The comments were a battlefield. Bro, your sister sounds toxic. Ain't no way she did all that. He's giving victim energy, but like, receipts? Where the email, though? This smells like a cover-up. I watched him cry for 8 solid minutes. He didn't mention the forged contracts, or the underage drinking, or the balcony fall, or the months of illegal filming, or the parties, or the property damage. Just his evil sister. Just me. I closed the video and opened my camera roll. All the receipts were there. Every screenshot. Every forged signature. Every clip of Tyler bragging about his condo to sponsors. I'd stayed quiet my whole life. But for the first time, silence felt like complicity. I opened Instagram, created a burner account, uploaded a single post. The truth. Then I added the photos, the footage, the contracts, the timestamps, the injury reports, the building notices, the email Tyler had written pretending to be me. The caption was simple. I am Eliza Beaumont. This is my home. These are my documents. This is my identity being used without my consent. This is the truth. I hit post. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, ping, 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 ping. The notifications poured in so quickly my screen stuttered. Reposts, shares, comments, DMs from strangers, journalists, former sponsors, other nurses, people with siblings like Tyler, people with parents like mine. In less than 10 minutes, the post passed 10,000 shares, then 50,000, then 100,000. Articles were updated. Sister speaks out. Nurse reveals receipts of influencer fraud. New evidence suggests Tyler Beaumont used sister's identity without consent. I could have lost my home. Whistleblower nurse. Details. Abuse of trust. Madison called. Eliza? Her voice shook. Holy, this is blowing up. Like national level blowing up. People are calling you a hero. I'm not a hero, I said. My voice sounded distant to my own ears. I'm tired. It doesn't matter, she said. Tyler's narrative is collapsing. Fast. Another ping, another article. Sponsor confirms partnership terminated. After forgery, allegations. Then another. Legal team for game fuel issues statement. We do not tolerate fraud. And another. Video emerges of balcony fall during a legal party at Beaumont residence. I sank onto the hotel bed. The truth was finally out. All of it. But instead of relief, a heavy weight settled over me, a grief so deep it almost hollowed me out. I didn't just expose Tyler. I exposed everything, every lie, every manipulation, every boundary violation, spanning years. It wasn't just the end of Tyler's influencer career. It was the end of our family as we knew it. My phone buzzed again. this time with a flood of new messages. From strangers. Thank you for speaking up. Your courage gave me courage. I'm going through the same thing. You're not alone. For a long moment, I just let the messages wash over me. Then my phone buzzed with a different notification. A voicemail from Dad. I pressed play. Eliza. His voice was ragged. They're pulling every deal Tyler ever had. Amber's run off. Sponsors are demanding money back. Lawyers are calling. Your mother is hysterical. This is a nightmare. You need to delete those posts immediately. A long pause. You've made your point. Enough is enough. Enough. Like I was the problem. Not the forged contracts. Not the underage drinking. Not the balcony fall. Not the lies. Not the illegal business. Me. I deleted the voicemail without replying. Then looked around the quiet hotel room. No noise, no lights, no chaos. Just air, just space, just me. And for the first time in years, the silence didn't scare me. It felt like the beginning of something. Not revenge, not victory, not vindication. Freedom. The next morning, I woke to sunlight slicing across the hotel room. Thin, cold, honest. My phone lay on the nightstand, blinking with notifications like a heartbeat I'd been trying to ignore. I sat up, bracing myself. Hundreds, no thousands of unread messages. Instagram DMs, Twitter tags, emails from journalists, requests for interviews, requests for statements, requests for comment. I ignored all of it. Then I saw the newest message pinned at the top, from Oregon State Board of Nursing. We are aware of the situation regarding the misuse of your identity and property. Please let us know if you need workplace accommodations or support. You are not alone. Not alone. The words made something inside me loosen, just a little. I sipped the hotel's bitter instant coffee and scrolled through the messages I hadn't had the strength to read last night. Most were from strangers. Your story made me feel braver about mine. My sister used my credit for years. I never stood up to her until now. Thank you. I've been living with toxic family expectations for decades. What you did took courage. But others, those were from people I actually knew. Coworkers, former classmates, acquaintances who had never said 2 words to me until now. We saw the videos. Holy hell, Eliza. I'm proud of you. You deserve peace. If you need help, we're here. Something tight in my throat ached at the unexpected kindness. Then there were the messages from family. I opened my mother's first. Mom, you heartless girl. Your brother hasn't stopped crying. You turned the whole world against him. Do you know what you've done? Our neighbors are gossiping. The book club wants nothing to do with me. I hope you're proud of yourself. Then another. If Tyler hurts himself, it will be your fault. My hands went cold. The oldest weapon in her arsenal. Guilt by manipulation. After everything Tyler had done, somehow I was the threat. I didn't respond. Not anymore. Next was Dad. We need to clean up this mess together before it gets worse. The sponsors are threatening legal action. You made things public too soon. You need to walk this back. I stared at those words until they blurred. Walk it back. Like truth was something you could undo. Like my life hadn't been cracked open by their choices long before I hit post. Then I saw Madison's name. That one I opened immediately. Madison. Eliza, call me when you can. Your mom tried to come to the hospital. Security won't let her upstairs. She's furious. She said she's coming back tomorrow. I don't think she's okay. A sick twist rolled through my gut. My mom causing a scene at my workplace was the last thing I needed. I grabbed my bag and drove straight to the hospital. As I approached the staff entrance, my HR director intercepted me. There's someone here for you, she said, eyes sympathetic. Security is handling it. She pulled up the security feed on her tablet. My mother, Patricia Beaumont, stood in the lobby, yelling at the guards, waving her phone like a weapon. That's my daughter, she shouted, mascara streaking her cheeks. She works here. You can't keep me away. A guard gently blocked her path. Ma'am, we've been instructed to restrict access. This is a place of care. This is family, she screamed. Family business. You can't keep me from... I turned off the feed. Not today. I went straight to the break room. Marcus was there, waiting with 2 coffees. He studied my face before speaking. You okay? No, I said truthfully, but I'm surviving. Good, he said softly. You did the right thing. I sank into a chair, pulling out my phone. Notifications flooded in faster than I could dismiss them. Then, one headline froze me. Jake, the guy who fell, or was pushed, from my balcony. Marcus read over my shoulder. Oh, wow, he's facing charges. And my family? I asked. Another headline answered for me. Beaumont family facing multiple civil suits after fraud exposure. I exhaled shakily. It's all unraveling. It was always going to, Marcus said. You just lit the fuse. My phone buzzed again. A call from Dad. Against my better judgment, I answered. He didn't even say hello. We're ruined, Eliza. His voice was cracked, broken. Your mother can't show her face anywhere. Tyler's sponsors all pulled out. His lawyer says he might face charges. Your mother's talking about selling the house. Guilt flared, then simmered into something calmer, steadier, truer. This wasn't my doing. This was the bill finally coming due. Dad's voice broke again. Your brother. He's devastated. So is the kid who fell from my balcony, I said. And the brands he defrauded. And the building he compromised. And me. He's family, Dad snapped. You should have protected him. I closed my eyes. No, I said quietly. I protected myself for once. He inhaled sharply. You're heartless. No, I whispered. I'm done. And I hung up. Marcus watched me closely. You okay? No, I swallowed. But I will be. The next few hours passed in a blur. 2 more articles, more DMs, more stories from strangers with families like mine. At lunch, I opened one message at random. A woman wrote, I left my family last year because they used me for money for decades. Reading your story made me feel like I wasn't crazy. Thank you for saying what I couldn't. Another. I thought I had to tolerate my sister's abuse because family first. Your courage made me confront that lie. I typed back without thinking. You're not alone, you're not wrong, and you deserve peace. More messages came, more stories, more pain, more people searching for permission to choose themselves. Then one from an older man. My daughter keeps telling me, family doesn't mean enabling. I never understood what she meant. Then I read your post. Thank you for helping me see it. My breath hitched. This was what truth could do. Not destroy, illuminate. That evening, walking out of the hospital, I checked my phone one last time. Tyler had posted again. Another crying video, another plea, another attempt to twist the narrative. But this time the comments were different. Someone wrote, your sister posted receipts, where are yours? Another, accountability isn't betrayal. Another, dude, stop blaming her for your crimes. Tyler's empire wasn't just collapsing, it was turning on him. I got into my car and stared at the steering wheel, trying to breathe through the flood of emotions. Grief, rage, relief, fear, freedom. Then my phone buzzed. Madison, please don't freak out. But Tyler's threatening to go live again. He says he's going to expose family secrets. All of them. I stared. Family secrets. There were so many. Dad's business investments. Mom's gambling debt. Tyler's student loan fraud. All swept under rugs until the rugs were lumpy with decay. I texted back. Let him. I have every receipt. Madison responded instantly. Eliza, there are things even I didn't know about. Are you sure? Yes. I'm done being afraid of them. A pause. I'm proud of you. I sat there, watching the night settle over the city. For the first time in my life, the truth wasn't something to fear. It was something to stand on. Something solid. Something mine. And no one, not my mother, not my father, not Tyler, was ever going to take that from me again. The knock came just after sunset. A single, hesitant tap-tap. Not the pounding I'd expected from Tyler, or the furious rattling my mother preferred. I'd moved back into my condo earlier that day, escorted by Janet and 2 security guards. My living room was freshly repainted. New floors gleamed where the old ones had been gouged. The antique table had been repaired, mostly. The damage remained in faint scars no one but me would ever notice. Scars always look faint to someone who didn't live through the wound. I'd barely settled onto my new couch when the knock came. I checked the hallway feed on the security app. Tyler. Alone. No ring light, no camera crew, no phone held up to his face. He was wearing jeans that didn't fit the influencer aesthetic he'd curated. Faded, wrinkled. A hoodie that looked slept in. His shoulders were slumped. And around his ankle, stark against his pale skin, was a court-ordered GPS monitor. My chest tightened with a complicated mix of grief, anger, and something like pity. A message buzzed across the top of the screen. Janet, he's here. Want me to remove him? I stared at Tyler's face on the screen. His eyes weren't defiant this time. They weren't performing. They weren't calculating a thumbnail expression for views. He just looked tired and small. I typed back. No, let him talk. 5 minutes. I opened the door. Tyler looked up sharply. Liza. His voice cracked on the second syllable. He hovered in the doorway like a child waiting to be scolded. Can I come in for a minute? 5 minutes, I said, and then you go. He nodded quickly, stepping inside like he was afraid the door might slam shut on his heel. He stopped in the middle of the living room, eyes sweeping over the repairs. The silence stretched. Wow, he whispered. It looks different. It's supposed to, I said. He swallowed so hard I saw his throat bob. My lawyer said I should apologize. My eyebrows lifted. Your lawyer. Yeah, he gave a humorless laugh. Apparently judges like remorse. Who knew? I didn't respond. He shifted awkwardly, rubbing the back of his neck, the gesture he used to make when he got caught sneaking video games past bedtime. I didn't come for sympathy, he said, or to defend myself. Good. But I came because, he exhaled, shoulders shaking, because I lost everything. My voice stayed steady. You didn't lose it, Tyler. You burned it. He squeezed his eyes shut like the words physically hit him. My followers are gone, he whispered. Sponsors too. Amber dumped me. Jake's in jail. Mom and Dad. They're fighting nonstop. The lawyers say I might get probation or community service, but the restitution I owe, it's more money than I've ever had. I didn't flinch. Actions have consequences. He nodded, tears filling his eyes. Real ones this time. Not staged, not performed. I know, he said brokenly. I know that now. He looked around the condo again, my condo, as if trying to recognize the place he'd once claimed as his. I thought, his voice wavered, I thought you would help me. There it was, the real reason he'd come. Not remorse, not understanding, not reconciliation. A lifeline. Because for my entire life, that's who I'd been to him. Someone to exploit when convenient. Someone to lean on. Someone whose boundaries were obstacles. I sat down on my new couch, the one that still smelled like fresh fabric and hope. I did help you, Tyler, I said quietly. For years. I defended you, cleaned up after you, forgave things no one should have forgiven. But now, I gestured around the room, I'm done living for everyone else's comfort. He looked shattered, like the reality was finally sinking in. He sat down across from me, hands trembling. They're saying I might get charged with identity fraud, he whispered. And something about tax evasion? I didn't even know I had to do taxes for sponsorship income. I didn't soften. Not this time. You forged my name, I said. You lied about owning property. You ran a business illegally. You endangered people. You destroyed my home. You stole my identity. You manipulated me. You lied publicly about me. You weaponized your audience against me. His tears spilled over. I know, he whispered, and I can't undo it. No, I said, you can't. He looked up at me with pleading, raw eyes. Will you ever forgive me? I held his gaze for a long, heavy moment. And then I asked him the question that mattered more. Are you actually sorry, Tyler, or are you sorry you got caught? He froze, breath held, eyes blank, lips parted. No answer. Because there wasn't one. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I stood and opened the door. Your 5 minutes are up. He rose slowly, the weight of his ankle monitor making him limp. Liza. His voice cracked. Please. I don't have anyone left. You never treated me like someone you wanted, I said softly. Only someone you needed. His face crumpled. And for a flicker, for the smallest moment, I mourned the brother I wished he had been. But mourning wasn't the same as forgiving. Security officers appeared at the end of the hall, waiting. Tyler wiped his face, his hands shaking so badly he almost missed his hoodie pocket. I'll try to be better, he whispered. I hope so, I said. He stepped into the hall. The officers flanked him. He looked back once, eyes full of things I couldn't fix. Goodbye, Tyler. He swallowed. Goodbye, Liza. And then the elevator doors closed. My phone buzzed in my hand. Marcus checking in. Marcus, you okay? I stared at my quiet, repaired home. The new locks, the restored walls, the sunlight on my reclaimed desk. Was I okay? No, I typed back, but I will be. 3 months later, I watched my parents' lives get packed into cardboard boxes. It was a gray Saturday morning when Madison picked me up. We parked half a block away from my childhood home, far enough not to be noticed, close enough to witness the final unraveling. The moving truck sat in the driveway like a tombstone. A realtor's sign leaned against the mailbox. Pending sale. My parents stepped out of the front door together. My mother's once flawless hair was pulled into a fraying bun. The designer handbag she carried for status was gone, replaced by a scuffed tote bag. My father looked older, smaller than I had ever seen him. For a heartbeat, a very old part of me, the child part, wanted to run to them. Fix it, smooth it, make it better. But the woman sitting in the passenger seat didn't move. Not this time. Madison watched them too. You don't have to see this. Yes, I said quietly, I do. My mother paused on the front steps, looking back at the house as if seeing it for the first time. She lifted her coat sleeve and wiped her eyes. My father rested a hand on her shoulder as if to steady them both. They walked to their car. They pulled away. The life they'd built, every corner of control, every shiny veneer, finally cracking open. The silence between Madison and me was thick. "Still feel satisfied?" she asked softly. "No," I admitted, "but I feel free." She nodded, gripping the steering wheel. "Then that's enough." My phone buzzed with a news alert. Breaking. Influencer. Tyler Beaumont sentenced. 300 hours. Community service. Mandatory counseling. Restitution payments. Official apology issued to victims. Fraud charges reduced due to plea deal. Friend. Jake receives 18 months for balcony assault. Madison exhaled. "Think he'll come back online someday?" I shrugged. "Maybe, but not the way he was." Then another notification. "Your post has surpassed 3.4 million shares." Not the original evidence dump. The new one, the essay I'd written 2 weeks ago called "The Cost of Being the Reliable One." People weren't sharing it because it was scandalous. They were sharing it because it was honest. Because it gave language to wounds they'd been told weren't real. "I never meant to be public," I murmured. Madison smiled. "People don't relate to perfection. They relate to truth." Later that afternoon, I met Tyler at a small coffee shop near the courthouse. He'd asked for 10 minutes, not 5. I agreed to 5. He was already seated when I walked in, his posture stiff, both hands gripping a thin manila folder. The court-ordered ankle monitor peeked out from under his sweatpants. He looked nothing like the influencer he'd posed as. No curated lighting, no smirk, no camera-ready swagger. He looked like a boy who'd finally met the real consequences of a life built on shortcuts. "Eliza," he said, standing slightly. "Thanks for coming." I didn't waste time. "You said this was important." "Yeah." He swallowed and pushed the folder toward me. "It is." Inside was a cashier's check, a typed apology addressed to me, a typed confession addressed to his sponsors, a list of every lie, every forged signature, every platform he'd misled, statements acknowledging harm, copies of his restitution agreements. I didn't look up. "This won't fix everything," he said quietly, "but it's what I can do." I nodded. "It's a start." He lifted his eyes. "Will we ever be—" "No," I said gently. "We won't." His face crumpled. "But," I added, "I hope you become someone you can live with." He nodded slowly, a tear slipping down his cheek. "Yeah," he whispered. "Me too." He didn't ask for forgiveness again, and I didn't offer it. Healing wasn't the same as reconciliation. Some bridges are better left burned. When I walked out of the coffee shop, Madison stood waiting by my car. "Home?" she asked. "Home," I said. When I unlocked my condo door that evening, it greeted me with a quiet warmth. The renovations were complete. Fresh paint, smooth floors, repaired fixtures, new furniture, reinforced locks. No gaming chairs, no LED strips, no strangers, no chaos. Just space, just stillness. Just mine. The scent of lavender from my diffuser filled the room. Sunlight filtered through the blinds in soft stripes. My writing desk, my real one, not Tyler's dumping ground, sat under the window, clean and waiting. My laptop was open. A blank document blinked on the screen. Not my novel, not yet. Instead, a new draft titled, "To the Ones Who Chose Themselves." I sat down, fingers hovering over the keyboard. My phone buzzed. More messages, more stories, more people trying to breathe in rooms that had been suffocating them for years. I typed, "To everyone who has ever been told that family comes first, even when it's killing you inside. To everyone who has been pressured to sacrifice your boundaries, your peace, your future. To everyone who has lived under the weight of guilt disguised as love." Another buzz, more stories, more pain, more bravery. I kept typing. Some endings aren't happy. Some families aren't safe. Some peace comes at a cost. But some prices are worth paying. And some truths deserve to be told, even when they break you in the telling. The cursor blinked, waiting patiently. Outside my window, the city lights shimmered. Inside my condo, the silence settled like a blanket, soft, warm, safe. For the first time in years, the stillness didn't feel empty. It felt full. Full of possibility, full of beginnings, full of a life reclaimed. I closed my laptop, made myself tea, and curled onto my new couch. The peaceful quiet didn't scare me. It soothed me. I raised my mug toward the empty room. "To freedom," I whispered, "and to never setting myself on fire for people who don't even notice the light." The building creaked softly around me, settling, embracing, steady. I exhaled. I was finally home.